Hello, everyone. This is Sam Ridgway, and we're back with another episode of Tales from the Crypto with our resident guru, Cameron Sykes. Cameron, how are you?
How are you, Sammy? I'm doing great.
I'm doing great as well. Thanks. Back from Mexico was a wonderful vacation as always, but now it's back to business. I do see, however, that while I was gone, the market didn't shape up not like I expected it to, but let's just say how I wanted it to. So why don't you kind of just give a quick synopsis of where the market is? I think we're going into some news, and the big thing I want to talk about today is Elon Musk and his takeover of Twitter. I think that's going to be a good topic for us kind of go back and forth with. But go ahead, take it away. Where's the market, Cameron?
All right. Well, let's start up. Before I get into that, let's start off with a disclaimer.
Oh, yeah.
It's a show intended to entertain and educate our viewers. This is not investment advice. This show should never be used as the primary basis of investment decisions, nor should it be construed as a solicitation or advice designed to meet the particular investment needs of any specific investor. Please do your own research and come to your own conclusions. No information should be interpreted, stated, or implied that past results are an indication of future performance. So the market, it sucks right now. As we all know, it's been shitty for a while. And once again, we're just kind of being dragged in there with the equity markets right now. Interest rates, inflation, all this stuff going on is dragging equities down, dragging crypto down as well. Bitcoin, all crypto is basically being tied into, the NASDAQ 100, high growth tech stocks. And so, yeah, it's not looking great right now. And I think it has nothing to do with crypto or Bitcoin or anything like that. It's just larger macro fears of stuff that's going on in the market. And ultimately, I think the decoupling will happen when the market gets so bad that people will have no choice but to put money in Bitcoin and crypto because it's the best hedge against inflation, and they're not going to be able to get the returns that they want to out of equities anyway. So, yeah, we don't know when that's going to happen, but it sucks. But ultimately, I think the market has a little bit more ways down to go, but ultimately, I think that's going to work to our benefit. And the longer it just drags on here, I think the more volatile of an explosion will happen. That's going to shoot Bitcoin, Ethereum, the rest of the crypto market up along with it. And I think, we could still see 100,000 relatively soon once that thing takes off. So we just kind of got to wait and see right now. But in the meantime, we have some crypto-related news for you guys. And so,
one thing before we get into the news, remember when Elon Musk came out and said that he was going to start taking Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin just took off, and then Elon came back out and said, you know what, I reconsidered. There's too much, environmental issues with it or whatever, and then it's plummeted like crazy. I think that we're like an Elon Musk sort of news cycle away from it taking off. I think there's going to be an event that happens with Bitcoin or whatever, to where that whole catalyst just propels it forward. I don't know when that is. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think that that's going to happen because, as you said, as far as inflation goes, Bitcoin is a logical hedge against that. It's just as gold would be, albeit you don't have to physically own a resource. So there's no reason for digital currencies not to be that hedge. It just needs to be brought out to the American population, the understanding and education. This is what it is. Because right now it's just this whole magical fairy dust shit to the average person, So, but I think a single event is going to propel it to just start taking off. But anyway, go ahead.
No, absolutely. And we're starting to see, more signs of it being adopted by the mainstream populace right now. In fact, Goldman Sachs just offered its first Bitcoin-backed loan as Wall Street embraces crypto. So Goldman Sachs has offered its first Bitcoin-backed loan, showing further signs of increased interest in cryptocurrency from Wall Street institutions. A spokesperson for Goldman told Bloomberg that the multinational investment bank had lent cash collateralized by Bitcoin owned by a borrower for the first time in Goldman Sachs' history. And she added, the deal was particularly interesting because of its structure and the 24-hour risk management. So such a loan allows for a Bitcoin holder to borrow fiat currency, such as the United States dollar, by fronting up their Bitcoin as collateral to the bank. The underlying volatility of Bitcoin can make the loans risky if the price of Bitcoin drops too far. The borrower may be required to increase their collateral. Otherwise, they risk getting liquidated. And so the multi-trillion-dollar asset management firm BlackRock announced the launch of a blockchain-focused exchange-traded fund, ETF, earlier this month. The firm also announced its involvement in a $400 million funding round in partnership with Circle, the principal operator of USD coin, USDC stablecoin. So we're starting to see Wall Street get into the game here, which is obviously a positive sign. We're also starting to see some countries start adopting Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin just became the official currency in the Central African Republic, and it's overtaken the regional cryptocurrency frontrunners such as Kenya and Nigeria to become the continent's first nation to officially adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. It's the second country after El Salvador to embrace Bitcoin as legal tender, and the parliament unanimously passed a law in favor of the adoption of Bitcoin, driven by the need to solve currency and exchange rate issues. And so their president said that the adoption of Bitcoin as an official currency represents a decisive step towards opening up new opportunities for the African country. In fact, a recent report by Chain Analysis, a blockchain data platform, found that at the height of the pandemic from mid-2020 to mid-2021, Africans received as much as $105.6 billion in payments, a 1,200% increase from the year before. So that's really huge. And another country making some crypto news is China. China residents received 15 million in digital yuan as part of a government CBDC giveaway. So the government of the Shenzhen...
the Chinese one? Is that the Chinese coin?
Yeah,
exactly. I can't imagine China coming out and adopting like something other than something they made.
Yeah, no, it's definitely there. So it's basically a digital yuan. And so the government district has announced that 15 million yuan, worth $2.27 million in digital RMB, would be distributed to local citizens, according to the Global Times. A total of 130,000 red packets will be distributed through a lottery using WeChat payment. Using the red packets, consumers can spend them at nearly 5,000 stores in the district with no requirement to make a minimum purchase. In accordance with the most recent statistics from the Chinese Central Bank, there were 261 million unique users of the digital yuan by the end of 2021. Additionally, ECNY has been used to complete transactions totaling more than 87.5 billion yuan, or about $13.8 billion in USD. So the digital yuan is being tested in other cities as well. Most of these I can't even pronounce, so I'll save you guys the time here and move on to the next headline. And so the next headline here is Coinbase CEO addresses employee insider trading controversy. So Coinbase is changing its listing procedure in a bid to prevent front-running insider trading. Coinbase listings often cause price spikes in the market once an asset goes live. In the past, sophisticated traders used on-chain data and differences in the platform's API responses to anticipate new asset listings. They would then front-run the listing by purchasing the coins elsewhere and sell them immediately upon the Coinbase listing, banking on a price surge following the listing's announcement. On-chain evidence of such examples has circulated on Twitter on many occasions. So their CEO, Brian Armstrong, conceded that there was always a chance that someone inside the company could wittingly or unwittingly leak information to outsiders engaged in illegal activity. However, Coinbase stated it has zero tolerance for insider trading and will not hesitate to immediately fire any employees caught aiding and abetting any nefarious activities. Again, I guess we'll see about that one. And the next one we have here is Fort Worth, Texas will become the first city government in the United States to mine Bitcoin. So approved unanimously by the city council, the small-scale program will be more experimental before determining whether to dedicate significant funding, according to Parker. Bitcoin mining has a major potential in the U.S. with a worldwide void after the Chinese government banned cryptocurrency mining in June 2021. So Bitcoin operates on a proof-of-work mining model with miners around the world running high-powered computers to create new Bitcoin and validate transactions. Fort Worth will have a small 3-rig mine that will require professional-grade equipment, technical savviness, and electricity. Miners will be hosting a private network to address the security risk, and each of the initiative's 3 machines, as small as a toaster ovens, will consume the same amount of energy as a household vacuum cleaner. So I think that's really big. You know, we're seeing countries adopting Bitcoin. China's getting into digital currencies. Fort Worth is now mining for Bitcoin. Goldman Sachs is doing Bitcoin-based loans. And so despite of all this market chaos right now, we're seeing a lot of big players really accepting and getting into the crypto space right now. And I think overall that's a positive trend, and we're probably reap the benefits of that once the market picks up.
If I had the choice between Wall Street adopting crypto or the United States government adopting crypto, I would take Wall Street, because I think that once Wall Street and the money, Wall Street, comes in and is good with it and starts implementing it and changing it, the government's going to follow. Like, they're going to do whatever Wall Street wants to do. That's been proven again and again and again. So the front runner and the person holding the flag at the front of the race, I would definitely rather have it to be Wall Street.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's amazing. That stuff's amazing. And that stuff also shows that it's coming, right? It's not like it's just sitting in the wing, ready to freaking take off like a rocket. This isn't going anywhere. Like nothing's going back. People aren't giving up Bitcoin. Countries aren't saying that didn't work. We're going to go back to, some other fiat currency. It just continues to compound on top of the adoption, compounds on top of other adoptions to where it just is bigger and bigger and bigger. So again, I just think that there's a catalyst that's going to happen. Just take this, and all the infrastructure is going to be in place to allow this thing just to explode.
Oh yeah, I mean, wait till we start getting like a sovereign wealth funds investing. Sovereign wealth funds who have $100 billion just that they have to spend and just putting into crypto. And it's like they can't even do that right now. We don't even have the infrastructure to be able to take in that amount of money. So like, we have to build that, and then essentially once the big money starts coming from Wall Street and all around the world, I mean, the space is going to see such a drastic and just violent explosion in just price movement. Once the big players like that start getting in, you're going to see 100x happen on a lot of coins in a really, really quick period of time, unlike anything we've ever seen, like probably in history. So it's insane and stuff to look forward to. And
now let's do how about go ahead.
And so, yeah, but now I was thinking we could talk about Elon Musk and Twitter.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So alrighty. So we call this little thing Tweetopia 2027, a decentralized social metaverse. So I'm sure you've all heard of Elon Musk. You may know him for being the co-founder of PayPal, CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, and the most viral non-Kardashian on the internet. He has successfully attached himself into the world psyche in the same way as company Neuralink wants to implant microchips into our brains. No one thinks it's weird. In fact, we love him for it. So when he tries to buy Twitter, it's a really big deal. And much of the speculation centers around the prospects of a decentralized Twitter sphere and what that actually means for the social media platform. So here's a look into what a decentralized Twitter could actually look like in the year 2027, 5 years from now, under the Elon Musk regime. In this scenario, 5 years from now, Twitter would be private. It would be restructured as a DAO, so a decentralized autonomous organization. Its governance tokens are listed on Coinbase under the ticker symbol TWIRT, simply because it made Elon Musk laugh. There are monetization reward systems for retail platform users who are the true drivers of value creation. Users are compensated in crypto built on an engage to earn model. So the greater user engagement, the more value the platform generates. Commenting, liking, or retweeting accrues X number of tweet tokens, which are the native currency used to pay for gas on tweets and all other transactions on the Twitter chain. Being one of an influencer's first followers would be the equivalent of investing in a pre-IPO startup. The value of your follow appreciates as the one you follow's popularity grows. Profiles are essentially fundraising vehicles that finance the creation of user content. Twitter still sells its users' data to third parties, but users now have full control over their data. Users are then compensated in crypto for allowing third parties to access their data, generating a passive income stream along with more targeted users' experiences within the platform. Data and data derivatives are tokenized, exchanged peer-to-peer, and account for the largest percentage of revenue generated on the platform. Finally, profiles are now living and breathing 3D avatars that live like pirates sailing across the international waters of a fully immersive Tweetopia. It's a virtual world that can only be accessed via Neuralink implanted inside of your brain, and no one thinks it's weird because we already live inside of a simulation. So I think a lot of stuff could happen with Twitter in the next 5 years, and that one thing I wouldn't be surprised if, rather than just having that one-dimensional web page interface, if that was a full metaverse, and whereas your profile are now just inside of an avatar, and you can actually go and walk around a 3D version of Twitter, which sounds absolutely terrifying and horrible, but I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happens.
We would definitely change the dynamic, because Twitter, for me, like, I don't really get on Twitter that much at all, and I might be like an anomaly. Maybe everybody else does. I don't know. But it just seems like this place where people just go bash each other. Like something happens and then they just attack, like this huge leftist thing. And whether you're, left, right, center, whatever, there's a lot of, the progressive type stuff in there where everybody's like, oh, let's live in this kumbaya utopian world. And, everybody wants to live that world. But that's not and again, not big political stuff in here. But if you took two groups of people and you put it on an island, one group would kill the other to take the island. That's human nature. That's the way people are. Like people are, and that's what's allowed us to survive over the years. We always want to be better, bigger, faster. And it's just not human nature to live in this whole thing where everybody has all of these like equalities. America's a place where we work with that kind of stuff. So anyway, but my point with the whole Twitter thing is it's just this huge leftist um, place where it's just like if you're not progressive, you're just going to get bashed left and right. That's what it is. And that needs to change. There needs to be more of an equality in viewpoints on that medium before I'll ever go back there.
Yeah, and I think Elon definitely plans on cleaning that up. I think he shares a lot of the same sentiment you do. He's outwardly said he plans on taking down all these bots who are basically infiltrating the platform, all these, Russian bots or whatever, and just kind of cleaned up a little bit and giving more people opportunity to share their opinions, whether, someone agrees with them or not. You know what I mean?
I respect that. I respect both sides. Like I respect both sides. You have an opinion, I have an opinion. There's nothing wrong with us agreeing to disagree and moving on with our life because quite frankly, there's probably a million other things that we do have in common, right? This just happens to be this one thing that we disagree on. But it doesn't have to be where you're an idiot just because you don't believe the way I believe. So, I think that just needs to come in where more viewpoints are accepted as being an opinion, and that's okay. Doesn't mean we have to agree, but let's at least get those out there so we can get information and we can intelligently come to a decision on our own without hearing just one side.
I couldn't agree more. I think that really it would fix a lot of the issues that are with the platform today. And it really is crazy though, because obviously everyone has their own political beliefs and that's cool. But don't you feel like 10, 15 years ago, you and your friends could disagree on something politically and it wouldn't be a big deal? And now people can't even associate or talk to people they don't agree with politically. And that's that's ridiculous. And that's something, I don't know how you fix that in itself, but I think, it's definitely a step in the right direction. You know what I mean? Because we don't have to agree with each other on everything to be able to get along and be able to live, amongst each other in a society that's just, not just horrible. So I think
years ago, there wasn't the same access to information or the access to people with the same beliefs as you want to, because you didn't have that whole social media thing as prevalent as it is today. But today it's so easy to find a bubble with only people that you agree with, because you can go somewhere on Facebook, you can go somewhere on Instagram, you can go somewhere on Twitter, and you can find like-minded people, and you live in that bubble and never see the other side. And anybody that doesn't believe what you believe in your bubble is obviously an idiot. So I think it's this whole tribalism thing where I can find my tribe and I can hang out with my tribe. And whereas before, without the whole stuff, you were just like intermixed. You had people that were conservative, people that were liberal, and you kind of just had to talk to both of them because they were both in there. I couldn't just run out and find my tribe and live in my bubble like you can today. So that's the problem. And once you get into like one of those liberal sort of post type things, maybe more as a conservative and give kind of a conservative outlook, you talk about getting pounced on. It's like this big friggin' dog pile, all just piling all over you, and it's not even like anything where it's constructive. Like, here's my view, here's why I respect your thing. It's all, you're a big freaking idiot. There's no way, especially this Roe versus Wade thing. And again, I don't want to get into that because that's all politically charged. But you go one way on that, and you'll just get friggin' lit up. And I don't really care so much, but sometimes it has real consequences. Sometimes it can end careers. Sometimes people come out to celebrities and stuff like that, and because they posted a certain way or had a certain viewpoint, their career is over. So, I mean, it can have real world consequences just because you're stating your opinion. And that should not be the case. If you want a medium where people can come together and collaborate, you can't devastate someone for having an opinion.
Yeah. Especially when a lot of other people share that opinion and it's not a destructive thing and it doesn't hurt people. We're all, we all think differently, and that's kind of one of the things that makes this world beautiful. But in the same token, once this whole tribalism thing, and I think that's a great term to use, it gets out of control, And now everyone feels like if someone thinks, slightly different than me, they're an idiot or they're wrong and they're the enemy and all this stuff when it doesn't need to be that way.
All right. Well, we're at 20. Shit, we're at 21 minutes already, Cameron. That's crazy. So you got anything to add? Or?
I think we're good unless you do.
No, I don't. I just want everybody to, if you put a little bit of money into the market right now, Bitcoin or whatever, it's not going to hurt. Like $100 a week or something. You just throw it at $50 a week. I mean, whatever it is, you just buy a little along the way. DCA, dollar cost average. And so, let's say by the time the market starts picking up, you've got a couple $1,000s. If that thing 10x's, get $20,000. I mean, it's a quick way to make money you couldn't make anywhere else like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, just know what time horizon.
Responsibly.
Yeah, do it responsibly, dollar cost average, buy and hold. Don't try to look at it every day. Don't put more money in than you can afford. And just let it sit there, be patient. And 1 year from now, you're going to see your account balance is going to be, a lot higher than it is today. And you'll be happy you did.
All right, Cameron, as always, I appreciate. Thanks for bringing the news in here and going and finding those articles and giving us a little update about what's going on in the world in crypto. And we'll talk next week.
Awesome. My pleasure, man. You have a good one.
All right, you too.